I have a habit when I drive at night. I check the rearview mirror every few seconds, not because I'm paranoid. Because I've learned that the mirror notices things before I do. That night, before the passenger got in, the mirror showed exactly what it should, an empty back seat. After he sat down, the mirror was still empty. But I could hear his breathing, slow and steady, right behind my neck. My night shift had just started. It was past midnight, and rain fell lightly, turning the road into a black ribbon of reflections. There were no street lights, no houses, just endless highway and darkness on both sides. I told myself it would be an easy night. Then I saw him. He stood on the shoulder of the road, soaked, motionless, as if he had been waiting for hours. When my headlights hit him, he lifted one hand. Not urgently, not desperate, just calmly. I slowed down without fully understanding why. He opened the door and got into the back seat. The car dipped slightly under his weight. "Where to?" I asked. He didn't answer right away. When he finally spoke, his voice was quiet. "To quiet. Anywhere. Is fine." I nodded and pulled back onto the road. Out of habit, I glanced at the rearview mirror. The back seat was empty. I blinked and checked again. Still empty. But I could hear him, breathing, slow, patient. I told myself it was the angle. Maybe the darkness. Maybe my eyes were tired. I kept driving. The rain grew heavier. The road felt longer than it should have been. I had driven this route dozens of times, but that night, every mile looked the same. Minutes passed in silence. Then he spoke again. "You check the mirror a lot." My hands tightened on the steering wheel. "I drive at night," I said. "It's a habit." He chuckled softly. "You won't see me there." I swallowed. "What do you mean?" No answer. I looked at the mirror again. Empty. I felt a sudden cold breath brush the back of my ear. "You don't like what you can't see," he whispered. I felt my heart pounding now. "Are you sitting behind me?" I asked. "Yes," he said calmly. "Just not where you're looking." The temperature in the car dropped. My breath fogged the windshield slightly, even though the heater was on. I tried to focus on the road, but the darkness ahead seemed thicker, heavier. My GPS screen flickered, then went black. "Hey," I muttered, tapping it. "That's weird." "You won't need it," the passenger said. "Why not?" "Because this road doesn't have an end." I slammed the brakes. The car screeched and stopped in the middle of the highway. I turned around. The back seat was empty. No wet footprints, no impression on the seat, nothing. But the door locks clicked. All of them. I heard movement right next to me. Not behind me anymore, beside me. Slowly, I turned my head toward the passenger seat. It was empty, but the seatbelt began to move on its own, tightening as if someone invisible were pulling it across their chest. "Please," I whispered, "get out?" "You already invited me in," he replied. His voice now came from everywhere at once. "Mirrors are doors. And you kept opening yours." The windshield began to fog completely. Words appeared, traced slowly from the inside. "Look again." My hands shook as I raised my eyes to the rearview mirror. This time, I saw him. His face was close to close. His eyes were dark hollows, stretching deeper than they should have. And his smile was wide, broken, and wrong. I screamed and ripped the mirror off the windshield. It shattered on the dashboard. The car went silent. No breathing, no voice, no cold. The engine stalled. When I finally dared to look around, the road was gone. I was parked in front of my own house. Morning light crept through the trees. My phone buzzed. A missed call notification from an unknown number. Below it, a message. "Thanks for the ride. I'll sit in front next time." I don't drive at night anymore, and I never look in mirrors. Because sometimes they look back. I thought that message was the end of it, a final warning, a cruel joke. I changed my number the same day, deleted every unknown contact. I told myself it was over. I was wrong. It started with reflections, not mirrors. Not glass, windows, phone screens. The dark surface of a turned-off TV. Sometimes, for just a second, I'd see movement where my reflection should be. A shape standing too close, breathing where there shouldn't be breath. I stopped driving completely, sold my car, walked everywhere. Until one evening, I was forced to take a ride. A coworker offered to drop me off. Broad daylight, busy streets, people everywhere. I hesitated at the passenger door. "Everything okay?" he asked. I nodded and got in. The moment I closed the door, I felt it, that pressure, that presence. The seatbelt tightened slightly against my chest. My co-worker frowned. "Seatbelt's acting weird," he said. I didn't answer. I stared straight ahead. The radio turned on by itself, static. Then a familiar voice whispered through the speakers. "Front seat is better, don't you think?" My co-worker slammed the brakes. "What the hell was that?" I turned to him. He was pale, sweating. "You heard it too?" I asked. He nodded slowly. In the reflection of the windshield, I saw a shape between us, not fully there, not fully gone, a smile forming where a face should be. I opened the door and ran. I didn't look back. I don't know what happened to him. I never asked. Now I understand something I wish I didn't. He doesn't need mirrors anymore. He doesn't need the backseat. He only needs an invitation. And if you're reading this, if you've ever felt watched while driving, if you've ever checked your mirror for no reason, be careful, because once he knows you can see him, he'll choose a seat closer to you. After that day, I stopped riding in cars entirely. I walked, I biked, I avoided enclosed spaces whenever I could. But even then, I couldn't escape him. One night, as I passed by a shop window, I froze. There he was, in my reflection, not fully formed, but smiling. Closer than before. I turned, heart pounding, but the sidewalk behind me was empty. I ran home, locked every door, covered every reflective surface. Nothing should have been able to show him. Yet, even in my bedroom, I saw him. In the dark corner, not quite a shadow, not quite a person. He doesn't need roads. He doesn't need cars. He just waits for the next time. For the next invitation. Sometimes, late at night, I swear I hear a soft voice whisper, "Why are you running? You invited me in once." I never leave an invitation unanswered. The night isn't over yet. Hit like and subscribe if you dare.